Yeah, Jordan and I were just talking about how hard coaching can be. And well, Jordan, I want you to say it about the methods and what you just said. I want you to say that.
Yeah, so you guys are thinking, if you've ever tried coaching somebody or helping someone in some way, it can be really hard. People tend to be really resistant to advice, as you found out from circling. If you didn't already know that, people tend to be really resistant to a coach coming in thinking they know what's good for their life. You've probably found this out if you've ever been a consultant. Most business leaders hate consultants because they're like, why do they know better than me how to run my own business?
Yeah. And
a coach is basically a personal life consultant. So you have that, and so it's like, yeah, it's really hard. What do you do with that? You can not coach, go find something easier to do. You can circle, which is awesome, of course, like just be with someone, and that can be so transformative. You can find a method that you just pick and stick with it. And if somebody isn't willing to fit into that method, you basically don't serve them as a client. You say, sorry, this isn't going to work, or they bounce out because they're like, this doesn't work for me. And so you limit the range of who you can help.
Yeah, that's why I like using circling as the operating system. Or it's one of the many reasons I like using circling as an operating system, but because we are impacted and it's live and it's not cookie cutter. And so it adapts, and it's not a method. I want you to say what it is. It's not a method. It's a
way of engaging life. It's a way of it's a lens or a perspective that you look through, an identity that you embody, that you step into. And that's one of the things that I love so much about this training is I feel like we kind of come out with a lot of things that were in the background and are now in the foreground. We're explicitly talking about the ways that you can kind of shift your perspective to, like, for example, we're not teaching anyone. We're not teaching you as a aspiring coach or manager that, okay, here's how you're going to successfully transform people and tell people what to do. It's much more like, here's how you can hold the possibility of somebody aligning with their own inner knowing, their own truth, and being kind of getting out of their own way so that the natural flow of their higher functioning can blossom into being.
And the way it moves from circling into something else, I imagine you've all been in circles where you go, I have something I want to work on. And this format doesn't let me go, hey, I've got a problem.
Yeah.
And I want attention on my problem. Right. And coaching is like the best of, all right, we're going to be present and we're going to be here and connected. And we can look at things like, why is there this thing that I say I want and I don't seem to be able to make any steps toward it? And to look at all the things that are going on underneath that, why it's not happening, right?
Right. And circling has this incredible capacity to look at those things and honor them and love them. And so there's this, there's an option that we can always just kind of blast through stuff and like deconstruct and like we can learn that and practice that. But there's this other thing that happens that you guys all have done and done with you, where when you look at something like the self-critic, for example, and you can say, oh, this self-critic is here to protect me and love me, and it's trying to serve my highest functioning. And you kind of like, it suddenly stops being this enemy that you have to fight and get rid of, and more becomes like an old friend that maybe is ready to retire. or sometimes you just recognize it for what it is and see, oh, it's betraying its own goals, and there's just natural letting go, this natural evaporation, just in seeing it for what it is, naming it for what it is, not needing to do anything with it, not needing to get rid of it, but being able to highlight it in this wider context of who and what you are now, today, not who you were when that system arose to take care of you and your needs.
Yeah, but when we can't see the system, we can't understand, right? It's confusing, and just unearthing it and letting it be there and go, oh, okay. That reminds me of even the thing we think is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we come in with this idea about, hey, I've got this problem, and at least 50% of the time, just teasing out what's going on, that's not actually the issue, right?
Yeah. And that's one of the things that, so this might sound really theoretical, and there's a lot of really good theory in the course, and we spend a lot of time bringing in some real solid distinctions in ways that I think a lot of circling, we focus so much on the embodiment and the practice, which is necessary as a foundation. It's really nice to bring in these theoretical pieces, but it's a very, very practical course. And we actually spend just as much or more time saying, like, okay, let's pick one particular skill or capacity, like you're saying, what's actually the problem here, which we call clarifying the problem. And we, we're going to give examples, and you can see people clarify the problem, see the power of it, and then break out. Let's practice it. Now come back, get some feedback, talk about some questions, break out. Let's practice clarifying the problem again. And you get to feel and just really put the stuff to work. So a lot of the benefit is, like, you guys are freaking amazing. As circlers, you are already amazing, amazing, amazing. That's one of the secret things that happened that inspired me to create this course, is I was seeing another coach that is well sought after, really expensive, $300 an hour executive coach. And I was like, man, every circler I've certified, I think would be a better help to these people than this executive coach. And people were loving what the executive coach was giving them. And so I was like, well, shoot, like, what's the missing gap here? And I think for a lot of you guys, it's probably the practice, the actually having taken this movement of, how do I come from this deep surrender, being with, letting flow what flows, and actually bring a practice, bringing a directionality into that doesn't betray circling, that doesn't betray the surrender, but is a natural arising as and from it.
Yeah. To help people that want, they want to thrive in their lives. Right. There's something they want to manifest in the world, or they want to interact with the world differently. Right. And being able to put focus on that. There are so many beautiful techniques, and it is this mixture of very practical things, and it's still mystical. You manage to still bring the mystical in, even in the middle of these very practical things. Yeah.
And sometimes they're one and the same, or always they're one and the same.
Always.
But sometimes they're explicitly one and the same. Like, how do we circle awareness? Yeah. Or, your circle, even just something simple as like circling someone's way of being, or learning to kind of really allow the mystery to guide the directionality. You're fully autonomous, you're fully here, setting boundaries, clear expectations, and yet the mystery is the guide.
Yeah, you're going to do lots of reps, and you're going to get coached a lot. And that's the side benefit. Everyone is practicing on everyone. And so you come out with all these amazing sessions you've had of being coached and of coaching. And I think that's the part that I hadn't really thought about before we did it last time, right?
That's right. You and I both, I think, were surprised by that. We thought that, even though these people are amazing circlers, the coaching sessions are going to be a little wonky at first. After doing some of the course, like, they'll be more powerful. But actually, from the very first week, people were saying, I'm surprised at how much I'm getting out of the practice sessions. I'm just growing and getting loving being coached in this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's just so satisfying having, there's a few of the graduates, a lot of the people who took the first cohort, were in a business where they weren't being an official coach. They're a manager or just kind of applying it to work in general, running a law firm, whatever. But some of them, the previous graduates, were like, I don't know if I want to coach or not. And then now they've got paying clients, and that first moment of like, wow, this person wants to pay me to coach them is such a joy, and just to see that it lights me up, and to get to celebrate with them and to talk with them of like, I don't know what to do. I think I screwed it all up, and yet they keep coming back and seemingly getting a lot out of this.
Yeah, and then I think about the attorney that was doing it not because he really wanted to, and then he's like, "I'm using this every day with my clients, every day." And there was such an excitement, and like, oh, you should do this just for attorneys.
That's
they
right.
really need this, right? They need this. They need the ability to be present and then bring these ways of seeing. In many ways, what it teaches is ways of seeing. It clarifies, and we work on different ways of seeing every week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the other, side benefit that I was a little surprised by was people, because I thought maybe people would be a little confused about, oh, now am I going to be a bad circler because I'm bringing in directionality? And there were a few people that expressed in the middle that confusion, and yet, even as they were expressing it, my surprise was that they were better circlers. Every single person that did this course just turned out to be a much better circler as a result of it.
Yeah, it's true. I don't even know how to explain that, but it's true. Yeah. So
yeah.
I think what you're hearing is we're really excited about this course.
Yeah. Really excited. And so if you're considering it at all, if you're not sure if it's a good fit for you, sign up for a call. We'll spend half an hour talking through it, answering any questions, the practical side to see if it's a fit, and also like looking at if it's not, what is the next step for you? There's something that you're being called into right now. You're watching this video, you're curious, or you have a sense of longing for more. There's a sense that maybe I can integrate more presence into my work or into my daily life. Maybe there's a sense that I can bring more directionality towards goodness, thriving, truth into my surrender. And I don't know quite what to do to get there, how to do that. Or maybe I know I'll get there eventually, but I don't want to spend 10 years making the same mistakes that everyone else has already made when I can get guidance to get there easier, faster, less suffering. So schedule a call and we'll talk it through. We'll see if it's actually a fit or not.
All right. Thanks, everybody.